Hello?
Hi, I am a representative from Colin Kaepernick. Hi, Bob Quinn. How are you today? Hello? Bob Quinn, you still there? All right. It looks like he hung up. Who are we gonna call next? All right. Yeah, we'll call Jerry. That's a good idea.
Hello?
Hi, Jerry. How are you today? This is a representative of Colin Kaepernick.
You shut your mouth. We will not have any backstabbing, trading, unpatriotic SOBs playing for the Dallas Cowboys. Get off my phone before I find you and cut your ears off myself. You heard?
Oh, gee, he didn't sound happy. He really didn't. Um, I don't know who to call. I'm just gonna hit speed dial on somebody. We'll see how this goes.
Hi, yes, Ryan Pace, GM of the Chicago Bears.
Hi, Ryan. This is a representative of Colin Kaepernick. How are you today? You here to talk some business?
Oh, I'd love to talk business with you.
All right, so we're thinking now. Colin Kaepernick, he's a good quarterback. He stands for what he believes. Okay, well maybe that's not the right words to use, but he's a good quarterback. He needs to learn a little bit. He's got a gunslinging arm though, and he can still move. You interested, Ryan?
You know, he has some potential. He's good in parts. You know, we did just draft Mitch Trubisky, so I'm gonna say no. Mitch Trubisky's the next Peyton Manning. You have a good day, sir.
Oh, okay. He said that Mitch Trubisky's the next Peyton Manning. All right, well Ryan Pace is he's onto something maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's try the Seahawks. Let's see how this goes.
Hello.
Hi, John Schneider. How are you? This is Colin Kaepernick, representative, here to talk business with you today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Just a little bit that I wanted to talk to you about. We know that you have really, really great success with Russell Wilson. No lie about that. But why not add to the arsenal that you have with another quarterback like Colin Kaepernick?
I don't really think that's gonna go well.
What do you mean?
He didn't play good quarterback play last year. He caused the whole political scandal, and we're not gonna use him. Well, we're not.
You know, those days are behind him though. You know, he's for his team. He just wants to play some football, you know?
Okay, here are my negotiations. Okay, he'll never play. He will be a third-string quarterback behind the second-string quarterback. We will pay him the league minimum. If he sets his knee down on any part of a turf this year, he will be fired. And he will be Pete Carroll's boy, as in he will have to do whatever Pete Carroll says. Any negotiations from the Kaepernick side?
Hey, Colin. Colin, somebody wants to take. Yeah, they actually want to take you, Colin. Yeah, you're in. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. John. Yeah, we'll talk more business. We'll be in touch.
We're still gonna have to think about it.
Yes, we'll be in touch.
These are just maybes.
Right.
But I'm just letting you know, if we take Colin Kaepernick, we will use him. In basically, he will be unhappy for his whole tenure at the Seattle Seahawks organization. But if he wants to come here,
all right, that sounds good. All right, what's up, everybody? Cam Gwynn talking at you. The man, James Paxson. What's up?
how you doing?
Not bad, not bad. That was just a phone call from somebody trying to get Colin Kaepernick onto any team. And it looks like Seattle is actually interested in Colin Kaepernick and RG3.
All right, I gotta say something real quick here, Cam. So there are 3 teams that comes to mind who don't have a good starting quarterback. One of them is the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Which they could have a good starting quarterback, but he's a rookie. So you don't know.
We don't know. We have no idea.
The New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. I get Colin Kaepernick did this terrible thing in people's eyes, which I'm going to be the first one to say I don't agree with it. You
Right.
don't do something like
No.
that for the people who fight for this country, and you did basically trash America. I don't agree with it. But the fact of the matter is we employ football players. We don't employ human beings. We have domestic violence users, drug dealers, drug users, people who don't care, people who will beat the living heck out of you. We have terrible human beings in this league. So if you want a quarterback, go get a quarterback. Do I agree with what he did? No. But why aren't any of these 3 teams going to get him? That's my question. Because if he goes to Seattle, he's never going to play.
No.
Let's make that clear.
No, he won't. He's got Russell
And Seattle
Wilson.
doesn't need him because Seattle has a decent backup.
They got a good
With
quarterback.
Boykin.
They got a good quarterback in Russell Wilson who's durable as can be, too.
He doesn't miss a lot of games.
No, he doesn't. He's a strong man. So, today, we're going to talk to you about the playoffs for NHL and NBA. Not a whole lot to talk about, but we're also going to talk about the MLB, what it can do to become a more nationally recognized sport, because both of us think it's not on more of the national side compared to the NBA, NHL, sports like that. But there is some cool stats that we found about youth participation that might shock you. So let's get into NHL right now. We got the last few teams are in it. Jimmy, why don't we talk about that? Let's talk.
All right, so Monday night tonight's game will be Anaheim versus Nashville. It's Game 6. It's in the Music City. It is a 3-2 lead for the Predators. The last game, the Predators had an unbelievably amazing defensive game. They won 3-1 against Anaheim. Pekka Rinne's been unstoppable. I guarantee a victory tonight for Nashville to go to the Stanley Cup.
And that's what I was looking at just now, too. Pekka Rinne is playing amazing. He's got a 94.2% save percentage, and he has 2 shutouts in these playoffs. He's playing unstoppable.
All right, and then tomorrow night, it's Pittsburgh versus Ottawa at Ottawa. Pittsburgh leads the series 3-2 after the complete dumpster fire destroying manhandling that Pittsburgh put on Ottawa. When you lose 7-0 in a playoff game, you're basically embarrassed for life.
You have to be.
I don't know how you could physically come back from that. Yes, the game's at home. Yes, Ottawa's played great, but it was 7-0. It was 4-0 in the first period.
There's a psychological aspect that has to come with losing 7-0 after the playoffs have been so close in most of the games.
So it's Pittsburgh and Nashville in the Stanley Cup. We can both agree on that.
That's what it's looking like. Evgeny Malkin is playing awesome. He has 23 points and 17 assists. He also has 6 goals, so he's not playing bad these playoffs.
All right, give me someone on the East and give me someone on the West who you would name your MVP.
You know, I think Evgeny Malkin would be one of them for sure. He would have he's playing amazing. I mean, he's leading the playoffs with 23 points and 17 assists, like I just said. He's finding his teammates to be able to set up plays. He's playing outstanding. He's like the point guard for Pittsburgh right now. He's playing awesome. And then, I mean, it's got to be Pekka Rinne. He's the main reason that Nashville is staying in it. He's been playing outstanding. Many saves, just being the biggest he can be in that goal. I haven't seen anyone as confident and as big as he has been these playoffs in goal.
Yes, I'm going to agree with you on Pekka Rinne. I've been a huge Pekka Rinne guy these whole playoffs. He's played unbelievably amazing. Definitely the best goalie, and he would be my MVP on that side. And then on the other side, it has to go to Carlson on Ottawa.
Okay.
This guy has 15 points in these playoffs, and he's led the team basically in leadership. And because of him, Ottawa has made it to the conference finals and has the potential to win a Stanley Cup.
I mean, I can't really argue with that. That's some good points there. So let's talk about the NBA now. We just had kind of would you say a spoil of the Celtics winning? Or would you just say it was just a trash game?
All that game showed me is that LeBron isn't perfect. That's the only thing that showed me. I never said he was bad.
No.
He's, of course, the best player in the NBA right now.
Right, of course.
But all that game showed me is that he's not perfect and he's stoppable defense-wise. And so that's what Golden State's going to be looking at because of that game. That will be the only game Boston wins, or they'll win one more. They're not going to win the series. They're not going to win 3 games. They're not going to come back, especially after Isaiah Thomas left, which, to be fair, they look better without him.
They did, actually.
I didn't want to say that, but they look better without Isaiah Thomas.
There was an interesting game for sure, but I totally agree with you. That's what Golden State's going to be looking at 100%, knowing that LeBron can hiccup. He can have his moments where he's not playing outstanding basketball, like he said, getting to the next level, which we actually were going to plan on talking about because we assumed that it was going to be a 3-0 series lead for the Cavs. We were going to talk about the next level that LeBron keeps talking about. But I want to pose this question to you because I know it goes back and forth who the most amazing player is in the world. What do you think LeBron has to do to get to MJ status, and do you think he could ever get above MJ status?
LeBron James, in my head, has to do two things for me to say he is just as equal as Michael Jordan. Number one, beat Golden State this year in the championship to have 4 championships. Yes, Michael had 6, but LeBron would have now beat a team with 5 All-Stars on it and won back-to-back and beat a very good team who had a better record than them and had home court advantage in the NBA Finals. He's got to do that first. 2, he has to win one more MVP. That's it. He wins one more MVP. He ties Jordan in MVPs with 5. Okay? When you're tied in MVPs, you can't really argue who's a better, most valuable player. Is that fair?
That's fair.
The championships, I don't want to argue because Jordan had, I want to say, more help than James.
That's fair.
With him being in Miami.
No, that's fair to say.
I think here's a funny question I want to ask you that nobody wants to talk about. Who would win LeBron James Cavaliers now or LeBron James Miami Heat?
Miami Heat.
No.
Back in,
No.
well, are you talking about in the prime or today?
No, the prime.
The prime?
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd go Heat?
Yeah.
No, I would go Cavs. I think Kyrie's would be a better point guard than Wade. I think Love would do better than Bosh, and I think the bench that Cleveland has is better than the bench that Miami had.
The only thing that sucks is Bosh was there, but he wasn't always there because he was having issues with health and stuff like that. So that's the only thing we can't really tell between Love and Bosh. But I see your points. I love Kyrie. You know I love Kyrie. He's an awesome player.
Well, here's my argument that I don't like comparing Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Michael played in a completely different era.
Oh, yeah.
Larry was done. Magic was done. The Bad Boys disbanded. Who was he playing against, really? He was playing against good teams, but wasn't anyone stand out like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Isaiah Thomas? Boston's Isaiah Thomas, not to get confused. That's why I don't like arguing it, is LeBron has to verse harder competition nowadays, and the game's different. Scottie Pippen could have just elbowed someone in the face, and it would have been a flagrant 1. You do that now, you're out 10 games. The league's changed completely. You're never going to be able to say who's better between LeBron and Michael fairly. My opinion, though, if LeBron gets that final championship, he gets one more MVP on his belt, he's the best player of all time.
See, I think he needs 2 more championships. 2 more.
That's potential.
I think that's
I'm okay with
I
that.
could definitely see that happening. I think he gets 1 more, he's right there with him. He gets 2 more, he's over him.
Well, let's just compare a couple things here.
Yes, go for it.
Jordan has 6
Yes.
championships. James has 3.
Right.
Jordan played 15 seasons.
Yep.
This is James' 14th.
Yes.
The All-Star games is 14-13, so that's pretty even. Season MVP is 5-4 with Jordan, pretty even. Finals MVP is Jordan 6, James 3, which is the same as the championships.
Right.
1, so that you can't argue that right now. Here's something funny is that all NBA first team, James has 11, Jordan has 10.
Okay.
So he already beats Jordan in all NBA team.
Yeah.
Which
and then
is
all NBA total section.
right.
He has 13 in James, and then Jordan has 11.
Right. Here's the thing that's always going to beat LeBron James is that Jordan right now, which of course he can gain the points per game and these types of stats, but you're never going to gain it by that much. Michael Jordan averaged 30.1 points per game in the regular season. James averages 27.1. That's 3 more. And the one that always gets me is the 37.1 points per game best season for Michael Jordan is in 1987. His best, it was in 2006 with 31.4. That's 6 points more.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan was a better offensive scorer. James was a better offensive sharer.
Yeah,
They
James,
both, of course, are unbelievable players. It's of course those in the top
It's
two.
more. It's most recently though with James where he's been the more offensive ball sharer. He was the original, kind of like Jordan, where he had the ball every play. He was finding ways to score, not to open up other players. That's where he has switched his game and trying to share the ball more because he was getting like yelled at for not sharing the ball and stuff like that. People were screaming, "Oh, he's such a ball hog," and he switched it up. He started sharing the ball a lot. That's one thing about LeBron that you think about throughout his career is he's changed so many times. His game has progressed into what he is now, which is just an outstanding player.
But
There's
here's
nothing about him that you can dispute. Is he's the best player in the league right now?
both of them had major flaws.
Yes, of course.
LeBron's is, in my opinion, when it gets to playoff time, he can't execute all the time in the fourth quarter.
No,
He is so inconsistent in the fourth quarter, it's ridiculous. When it comes to Michael,
he was.
he was. That's
the
when he
difference.
shined.
Exactly.
Look at these playoff stats right here. 43.7, what is that? Yes, okay, I want to make sure I had it right. Points per game in the playoffs in 1986. That is unbelievable.
That's outstanding.
James had 35.3. That's 8 points more.
That's still outstanding though, having 30.
Oh, they're both outstanding. It's just we're comparing the two.
8 points
Yes.
more for Jordan. That's
The point is, Jordan played better in the playoffs.
for sure.
Michael Jordan's biggest issue is that he couldn't play defense all of the time in key playoff games if he had to worry about more than one person.
Right.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. James doesn't have that issue. If let's say Golden State plays, who could LeBron James guard? Everyone.
Yeah.
Who could Michael Jordan guard? A select few.
Maybe Steph every other play. Not every play. He wouldn't be able to be with
He was an
every play.
amazing defensive player.
Yes.
That's not my point. The point is, in playoff time, LeBron couldn't score. LeBron still can't score. Jordan can't play defense.
Okay, so as hype as this is,
Well,
to see,
you didn't
like,
answer yet. What does LeBron have to do to be on Michael Jordan's status?
that he has to get 2 more championships and win 1 more MVP.
Okay.
That's what he needs to do in my eyes. Which, I mean, he could have won the MVP this year, next year, the following year. The dude's just, I don't know why it's got to be this way where we got to give the award to someone else, even though I do believe Russell Westbrook does deserve it this year. I mean, you average a triple-double with nobody on your team. That's pretty good.
Right.
No lie about that. But he'll get there. I have no doubt in my mind. He'll be sitting there on the throne of basketball right there next to MJ. So there's something that I do want to talk about, though. Obviously, we love the NBA and NHL, and the nation does too. But the MLB is kind of, what do we say, flopping in the nation's eye.
Here's
It's
how
not-
here's how I would put it. Is that, give me top 3 or your favorite 3 of the following. Top 3 NHL players.
Crosby, Ovi, probably Zetterberg.
Get your
Just to
hometown,
keep
of
it
course.
for hometown, yeah.
NBA.
Steph, KD, Kawhi.
Football.
Stafford to keep it hometown. I like OBJ, and I really like Tom Brady.
So here's the fact of that. How of those 9 people you just named, they all have sponsors, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They're all on ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS, Barstool, all of those.
Right.
Their homepages. Okay? They all have car deals. I think every single one of them has some type of car deal. What does the MLB have to show their stars as big as they are?
T-Mobile. That's the only thing I can think of.
My favorite player in the game, I'm not saying he's the best, but my favorite player in the game who's not a Tiger is Jose Altuve. Do
Okay.
you want to know what his sponsor is? It's 5 Hour Energy.
Yes.
You didn't know that?
No.
The 5 Hour Energy commercial where he's running around like crazy.
I
and the
haven't
girl
seen that one.
You haven't seen that one?
No.
It has a girl and a guy watching him, and they do something to the effect of, wow, Jose Altuve is a really amazing player. And he walks over and he goes, yeah, I can do a lot. That's the commercial, basically. Like in Just. That's not what he says, but that's the commercial in Just. But, like, he's top 5,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Why is his deal 5 Hour Energy?
I
My problem with it is the MLB isn't showing their stars, and their stars are not on the East Coast. The Yankees aren't on the top anymore. Boston has too many stars on their team to have a star. I hope that makes sense to you. Where
I
if a
think-
team has too many stars, you can't really have a star. Boston has Chris
Golden
Sale.
State?
Yeah. Who's their star?
Exactly.
Okay, you're agreeing with me.
Yes. That's all you can really say about it. The only thing I can think of is, I mean, Bryce Harper is shown on the T-Mobile commercials for the MLB that are sponsors. That's the only one that pops out off the top of my head. Mike Trout has something with Gatorade, I believe, and he's got Nike too.
This is a fun challenge that I think will kind of prove your point that you want to have.
Right.
Give me your top 5, not your favorite 5, top 5 MLB players, and I'll give you mine. And I bet you that we'll say 3 different players.
Probably will.
Okay, go
Mike
ahead.
Trout, Bryce Harper, Chris Bryant, Jose Altuve, and see, the 5 spot's hard because there's so many great players that I want to throw out there. I'd probably throw Corey Seager.
Okay. Not in any order. Clayton Kershaw, Anthony Rizzo, Mike Trout, Jose Altuve, and Bryce Harper. So we said 3.
Yep.
But my point is, when it comes to NBA, if we were going to say top 5, we would have said the same 5.
Probably.
Football, 4 to 5.
Probably.
Hockey, 5.
Probably.
So it's ridiculous that we can't agree on a top 5. And if we did 10, I bet you we would stick to 3 or 4. The MLB has no idea who their stars are because the game changes too much.
And it has a lot of star power, actually.
Well, that's to argue.
Yeah, okay.
But I agree it has some
we
star
won't talk
power.
about that then.
Well, where's all of this star power?
It's divided throughout a lot of the league. We can't see all the games, obviously, but we miss a lot of the games. Like I'm sure you don't stay up to watch West Coast games, do you? Neither do I. So we don't really see much of it. So there's probably some on the West Coast. There's some on the East Coast. You know who is actually a star? And when you said the Yankees, meh, whatever.
Okay, my comparison with the Yankees is they're not what they were in the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
Before you say what you're going to say, yes, the Yankees are getting better, and yes, they have 2 players who are very good right now. Go ahead and say who you want to say because I know you
Aaron
like
Judge.
him. Yes, I know you like Aaron Judge.
Dude's awesome.
Okay. And I've always liked Carlos Beltran.
Yes.
Okay.
You can't go wrong with that.
But my point is that the Yankees will never be the Yankees, the Bronx Bombers. Is that fair?
That's fair.
They could win the World Series this year, and they're never going to be that team. That team was unstoppable for 20 years.
That's fair to say. So this is what I want to get into now because we have heard lots of talks on the radio and other places of why doesn't the MLB have much star power and why it's losing interest and all this stuff. So we decided to do a little digging, and from EngageSports.com, they have a story called Youth Sports Matters, and it's about statistics of how many kids are playing what sports and all this. They took 17 of the top sports in baseball, basketball, field hockey, football, touch, and tackle. They split them up, which that's outstanding. Gymnastics, ice hockey, lacrosse, rugby, soccer, softball, track and field, volleyball, sand, beach, and court. They have 2 separate ones, and wrestling. Those
Okay.
are the 17 sports.
Without even looking at it, I'm going to tell you right now that the top 3 sports that are decreasing is football, wrestling, and rugby.
See, this is what's outstanding about this is football, touch football, and tackle football, like I said, are separated. Tackle football has lost 17.9% of participation over the past 5 years, 2009 to 2014. There's a different study that was 3 years that we're going to get into. That one's fun. But touch football has lost 32.4% of participation.
Well, to start, I think it's safe to say that our generation sports is less important.
Huh.
Period.
Okay. Do you mean to like kids our age?
I'd say people our age 20, the age of 10 to 20, that
Okay.
10-year gap, I think sports is less important, and I think it's decreasing as a whole.
I guess my family is just 100% different because pretty much everyone.
Well, no, that's your family.
I know, but
your
that's
family
what
isn't
I
even
saw
a
in
point
my friend
zero
group.
zero zero zero
But
zero
that's
zero
the thing.
zero
The
percent.
thing was in high school, in middle school even, I had myself only around like other athletes and stuff like that.
Well, I
So
played
I didn't
sports
really
all my
see
life,
the
too.
outside part of it, you know.
But my fact is you can't agree that sports is decreasing.
I didn't think it was going to be decreasing by 9% over the past 5 years. I didn't.
Not
think
even
it was gonna
participation. Like
That's
watching.
what it is. Yeah. I guess a little bit.
Millennials are different than the older generation. They're not going to be interested in sporting events because it has nothing to do with their lives.
Right.
That's just the basis of it. Sports is still important, over 50% of the population will still care about sports.
The thing is, and you will say this too, sports are seriously very, very important to the growing up of a young child.
Absolutely.
It helps you build team skills where you're able to communicate with others very well and know what's going to happen, be on the same page, planning, preparing. It helps you in the future to be able to be around people and be a team player, in my opinion, is what sports builds up to. So the one thing that I find interesting is the story also says that of the 17 sports, 6 of them are on the incline, while the other 11 are on the decline.
Do you want me to guess
So
the 6?
One of the ones that you just did say
For decreasing?
is actually increasing
And what is that?
by 100%.
What's that?
Rugby. Rugby has increased 100% in 5 years.
Okay.
And I can kind of see how that is because schools out by me, Brighton recently got a rugby team. Dexter recently got a rugby team. I believe Fowlerville recently got a rugby team in the high schools, I'm saying.
Okay.
So rugby is growing.
Okay.
Lacrosse,
Okay.
gymnastics,
Yeah.
softball fast pitch is
Yes.
increasing.
Yeah.
Slow pitch is decreasing.
Right.
Volleyball
Yeah.
and ice hockey.
Yes. That all makes sense.
That makes sense to you? Yeah, but the one that shocked me was rugby by 100%.
Yeah, that one. The only reason I think that would make sense is that schools didn't have it.
That,
So you went from 0
Yeah.
to 1 team.
and I mean, we both see lacrosse is making a lot of sense because it's more nationally recognized for
Lacrosse is
college
the
level.
better version of field hockey.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
No
mean,
doubt about
that's what
that.
it exactly is, just in a different version.
And the thing I see is to why lacrosse and ice hockey are starting to be more of a national stage and growing more with the our age group-ish. The game's changing so much to where it's more speed and having tricky stuff to be able to get past people.
Right.
It's not hard hitting. It's not let me grab you real quick. It's I'm going to skate real fast past you, or I'm going to run past you, pass the ball, get it back, do some stuff like that. That's why I see ice hockey and lacrosse going up. So that one makes a lot of sense to me. Volleyball makes a lot of sense. That's for sand and beach, though. For court, it's actually going down. Volleyball is a lot of fun. I love volleyball. I mean, we played volleyball, which essentially is volleyball inside of a box.
I've always had fun playing volleyball.
Volleyball's the best. And then gymnastics makes a lot of sense, too. Because it's more of a skilled thing. You have to hone and craft your skill to be able to do that. The one that I want to know that's not on here, though, is swimming.
I think it stayed the same.
It probably
I don't think that's changed much.
It's probably not much of a change, but I that is interesting. So one other thing, though, that does affect the participation in sports, and I was affected by it growing up, I don't know if you were, is how much it is to play at a super competitive level.
Yes. People who pay for, I mean, this is just off the top of my head, but travel hockey has to be the worst.
Oh, by far, because you got to pay for all the equipment, all the pads. It has more pads than other sports for sure. Sticks are I don't even know how much because I always buy the $30 cheap
But I can
ones.
tell you right now, I did not play travel sports for the sole reason it was too expensive.
The only reason I was allowed to is because, and my mom, she's awesome like this. She was the team mom for my team, so we didn't have to pay.
Oh. Okay.
So that's the only reason I was able to play travel for a little bit, and then I got scholarships to play travel somewhere else. That's the only reason I was able to play. But it is outrageous how expensive some of these teams can play. And this article from Forbes, it says here that over 20% increase from 2014 to 2015 in inactive sports players. It went up to 37.1% in 2015 of inactive youth sports players. That's outrageous, in my opinion. That's way more than I thought it would have been.
Well, this doesn't surprise me. It's a problem. It surprises me that sports is decreasing, but cost for everything is going up. And like I said, sports isn't as important as it is to this generation as the generation before it.
Right.
I mean, I get your freak out and I get your point. It's all making sense to me.
Right.
But the problem is it just doesn't surprise me. Like,
Mhm.
cost is going to go more and more and more. Eventually, the cost of your first car is going to be what it takes to just play rec baseball
Yeah, it said,
for an 8-year-old.
and it says right here that it has gone up 43% from 2014 to 2015.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's other things that go into it also that your club sometimes doesn't cover, like traveling fees and stuff like that, because I had to go to Vegas and in North Carolina, Raleigh, for tournaments.
Well, here's the reason it's decreasing. You didn't have to.
No, I didn't have to. You're right.
You got to.
I got to.
So I think more parents and more people are looking at it as you don't have to go to Vegas. You don't have to go to Raleigh, North Carolina. You don't have to go to New York City.
You can stay here and play on this rec team.
You're getting it.
Yes.
It's going to continue decreasing in
It
case
is.
they fix the cost or they make sports more popular.
It is. But the one thing that I was actually kind of surprised to see this because, I mean, I played soccer, but there is around our area, I would say, Michigan is one of the, and this is true, I don't have the exact number, but it is one of the highest growing states for youth soccer.
Yeah,
And
it's always been high for soccer.
Yeah, exactly. We would see that around us because Schoolcraft has an amazing facility that the Wolves are at, and we see a bunch of different travel teams.
In the
around
Metro
this
Detroit area, soccer has become more popular in the last 20
for sure.
years.
And Detroit might even get an MLS team because of that.
Correct.
So the one thing...
But with the MLS team, the sport's going to become more popular.
Oh, of course, obviously. For the nation, from 2009 to 2014, indoor soccer has dropped 11% and outdoor has dropped 8%. So it's also on the decline, even though Michigan is growing as all can be. And I coach for a team RSC, which is growing now. They have their own new facility. They got all kinds of kids coming from all over the place. It's just...
Yeah, but did you play on a new facility when you were 10?
When I was 10?
Yes.
No, I played rec up until I was 12.
No, that's not the point.
No.
You didn't play on a brand new facility. You didn't play with brand new equipment.
No, I played on
Do you want to know
some
what my first baseball bat
fields.
was?
One of those Easton
No, I can tell.
garage sale
I
ones,
can
right?
tell you what my first baseball bat was.
All right.
It was a black wooden bat that my grandfather gave to me that he found in a garage sale for $3. And if everyone who knows any male who played in rec baseball, you're not allowed to use wood.
No,
So my first bat was an inusable object.
that was my mistake too.
No, but that's not the point. The point is it was cheap as could be back when we played sports a decade ago. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair to say. And I have noticed
My parents didn't see it as we need to get him this brand new equipment, is he needs to prove that he needs this brand new equipment.
And my parents did the same thing. I ended up having to buy most of my equipment though.
I just
which-
kept using the cheap stuff.
That makes sense. So, I mean, it's kind of some good numbers to throw out there and think about. I mean, our kids are definitely going to probably play sports if they want to. I'm leaving it up to them. Either way, I think that's all the time we got today. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is Cam Gwynn talking at you. That was my boy, James Paxton. Be sure to check out on Thursday, actually, we will be having a Calvin Johnson discussion on what he talked about with the Lions. And Jimmy has a new game for me because he hates the sports spelling bee. And I'm going to make him do the sports spelling bee again. So thank you, everybody, and make sure to check that out.